Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Houston Sports Talk back into the video today, and today we're going to be going over the updated depth chart for the Dallas Mavericks after trading away superstar Luka Doncic for another superstar in Anthony Davis, and also receiving really solid young player who I actually am a big fan of, Max Christie, and also getting a very underrated draft pick in 2029 first-round pick, where the Lakers have a chance to not be a very good team in 2029. LeBron will be retired in 2029, and Luka's current contract will be expired in 2029. I mean, if they re-sign him, sure, he'll still be a Laker, but who knows if they'll be able to do that. If Luka will be interested in re-signing in LA if there is no LeBron. So that has a chance to be a good draft pick right there for Dallas. Obviously, I'm not saying this was a good trade for Dallas. I'm just saying it's not as, to me, it's bad. It's a bad trade for Dallas, but it's not as bad as I think as people are making it seem. But it's still a bad trade for Dallas if you ask me. But I will say this Dallas Mavericks team, one hell of a defensive team now. I mean, they said one of the reasons why they did this trade was, just to go ahead and become a great, defensive team. Well, they're already a solid defensive team, but it's become a better defensive team. Defensive wins championships, and obviously Anthony Davis is one of the best defensive players you're going to find. Well, let's look over what this team has defensively now. Now, Klay Thompson is a crap defender, so obviously let's ignore him in the starting lineup. And Kyrie's okay, but let's go over what the front court looks like defensively. You got PJ Washington, who's a very good defensive player, very good rebounder. You got Anthony Davis at the 4, who is such an amazing defensive player, one of the best shot blockers to ever play this game. And then you got Daniel Gafford, who's a great defensive player as well. Just the other night, had 5 blocks against the Pistons. So it's going to be to go into the paint against Gafford and Anthony Davis, and potentially Lively and Davis once Lively gets healthy in a couple months. That's going to be, when you see teams go up against the Mavericks, when the Mavericks are fully healthy, have all of AD, Gafford, and Lively, you're going to see a lot of three-point shots taken because it's going to be hard to go up and get shots against Davis and Gafford or Davis and Lively. That's going to be wild for this Mavericks team, I will say that. And then you also have Najee Marshall. You have Najee Marshall off the bench, who's a great defender. You have other players off the bench who are good defenders. But let's go to the full depth chart. Obviously, at the 1 and 2, I think here's where your scoring is going to come from with Kyrie Irving and Klay Thompson at the 1 and 2. Obviously, you'll get great scoring from AD, but with the guards now, your scoring is going to come from Kyrie and Klay. Now that Luka's gone, so Kyrie will be at point and Klay will be at the 2. You're going to see PJ at the 3. You're going to see AD at the 4, and you see Gafford at the 5. I think that's the expected starting lineup. I don't think anybody else expects any different unless what has been rumored, a Gafford trade could happen. If I'm Dallas, I don't trade Gafford just because, sure, I think you could improve this roster by trading Gafford because I've heard Nikola Vucevic, but then you're looking at trading a draft pick for Vucevic as well. They'd have to attach another player with Gafford to get Vucevic or another player. I would stay put if I'm Dallas. Well, it wouldn't be bad if Dallas made another trade, but I don't advise. I think Dallas should make another trade. I would go out there and improve the bench somehow. Because I think their bench is way too guard heavy, and we're going to get into that. But, I think that, I don't think the starting lineup needs that more. I think Gafford and AD right there, that's going to be incredible to deal with, for defensively, and what other offenses you're going to have to go through going through those two guys. But you don't have to get rid of Gafford, and I've heard those rumors. Dallas would be dumb if they traded Gafford. Dallas needs to make another move, I would say. I think they're too guard heavy. I would go out there and get a wing off the bench. Maybe a Caleb Martin, maybe someone else. I don't know. But I know there are way too many guards off the bench, and we're going to get into that. Off the bench, you have Najee Marshall, who I think is really the only player off the bench that's not a guard. And sure, you have Lively, but he's not healthy until April. So you have Lively, who's a center, and Najee Marshall, who's a forward, And I love Najee Marshall. He's a great defender, good shooter. I think he's going to be great for this team, and he's going to make this Dallas team an even better defensive team. And you got Quentin Grimes, who I love, great guard, great defensive player. He needs to stay in the minutes. And then Max Christie, who's a new addition at shooting guard. He's another good defensive player, which just makes this Dallas team continue to be a great defensive player. Here's where a good chunk of their scoring will come off the bench. Jaden Hardy, and then you got Spencer Dinwiddie, you got Dante Exum, you got Dwight Powell. Most of the names I just mentioned are guards. Outside of Lively and Powell and Marshall, I just named 7 guys off the bench, and 4 of them are guards or more. 5 of them are guards. Najee Marshall, Grimes, Max Christie, Hardy, Spence, Dante, and Dwight Powell. You got Dante Exum, who's a shooting guard. You got Spencer Dinwiddie, who's a point guard. Hardy, who's a point guard. Max Christie is shooting guard. And Grimes is shooting guard. 5 guards off the bench. So, yeah, just to me, I don't know. This is a really good Dallas Mavericks team, but way too guard heavy off the bench. And I wouldn't be mad. I think maybe Dallas needs to trade a guard. One of these guards, and Dwight Powell needs to get traded, and they need to add in a wing and maybe improve their draft capital. I don't know. That's what, if I'm Dallas, I'm thinking about trading a guard and Dwight Powell and get a wing. Get another wing to pair next to Najee Marshall off the bench is what I would say. But I think this Mavericks team is still a really good team. I think they're going to be really good. I like their starting lineup, and I like the talent they have off the bench with Najee Marshall and Grimes and Lively and Max Christie and Jaden Hardy. But I think off the bench they're way too guard heavy, and they need to add in another forward off the bench. If you ask me, they don't need to replace Gafford. They need to add in another wing. If you ask me, this video, hope you guys enjoyed. And peace out.